is a lot of advice out there that pushes discipline as the only effective way to get things done. But though continually forcing yourself to get in the chair and follow the same routine might work in the short run, the effects of discipline wear off, especially for creatives. Productivity is the antithesis of creativity. By its very nature, creativity is chaotic. There is no dependable rhythm to even chain yourself to, and that is the beauty of it. You are continually inventing something new. So get comfy, because I want to share with you how you can start taking advantage of the ongoing energy supply you have available to you that replaces discipline with joy. Enthusiasm. Hello, I'm Gabriella Rosie, and if you are new here, I've been documenting my progress through Julia Cameron's The Artist Way, and it's the third time that I've done this program, but this is the first time that I've documented it. And let me just say, I cannot recommend that enough. Like, sharing what you are learning is a great way to be accountable and also to process everything at a deeper level. So if you want to do The Artist Way, cannot recommend also filming your own progress and sharing your journey through it. We've also been doing monthly check-in calls in my membership for creatives, the Creatrix Coven. And that has just been gorgeous to have a space to talk with other people who are working through the book, to hear their perspectives and to have each other's encouragement along the process too, and see how one thing connects with one person deeper and it can show you something that you might have overlooked or might have not paid much attention to, but when you hear it from someone else, you're like, oh, okay. So it's week 9 of the program. Even though the lessons that I'm going to share with you were absolutely some of my favorites from this chapter, I'm gonna be honest, this was also the worst week I've done so far in terms of the requirements of the actual program. I will tell you about that in a minute. But there is an activity at the end of this chapter that guides you through breaking through any creative block, and that helped me. I'm going to share it with you, so stay tuned. This portion of the book on recovering a sense of compassion hugely restructured my view of a very humbling perceived creative block: laziness. Because we've all been there, right? You have all the ideas, all the plans, but don't quite have the energy or the focus to do something about them, at least consistently. I love how Miss Julie Cam speaks on this. Blocked artists are not lazy, they are blocked. When you are blocked and you think, oh my God, I'm not doing anything, I've been so lazy, so much energy is being spent. But instead of channeling your precious time and energy towards the projects that you're truly passionate about, it's being wasted on overthinking and doubts and self-hatred and jealousy. And all these fears and all of this guilt seems to build these internal walls that block us from taking the simple baby steps that are required to make even the biggest creative visions real. Look, it seems too simple and too naive to propose that the way to fight your fears is with love. Well, this is why I've been obsessed with affirmations for so long, and it's why affirmations also play a really central role in The Artist Way. What you tell yourself impacts your behavior, and your behavior creates your reality. It's as simple as that. When you feel capable of doing something, when you think you've actually got a chance of being successful at doing something, then you will begin with much more ease. And when you feel interested and when you feel excited to do something, it won't be a chore, but it's going to be the thing that you jump out of bed in the morning to do. What I'm getting at here is this. You have to stop making creativity a chore. The mindset hack of this is changing I have to do this to I get to do this. But we're talking about making your art here. You shouldn't have to do a mindset trick on yourself to show up and to create your art, to be able to spend your time and energy doing the thing that ultimately you really want to do. And honestly, if it feels like a chore, if it feels like something you have to drag yourself to do, and you need all of this discipline and all of these things in order to get you to actually sit down and create anything, then I think you're going to benefit greatly from reviewing what it is that you actually want to be creating, to spend some time exploring your ideas and actually letting yourself focus your time and energy on something that truly excites you. You've got to get the foundation right to even be able to utilize how powerful enthusiasm can be. If you're starting on something that you're not enthusiastic about, even from the early beginning stages, then of course you're not going to have this ongoing enthusiasm. Whereas if you've got something that you are so excited to figure out and to develop your skills to be able to create, then it's much smoother sailing. So this is where enthusiasm comes in, right? And honestly, the fact is, doing big things requires big effort. How it feels to put in that big effort to get those big results can look and feel very different. So discipline and enthusiasm, they can actually look very similar on the surface. We see people making big moves, doing big things, showing up and doing this thing for hours and hours and days and months and years on end. That can look like discipline, and it can also look like enthusiasm. How it shows up on a day-to-day basis, there is a lot of overlap there. It's that dedication, right? But the underlying experience of discipline and enthusiasm differs dramatically. And it's really why the people who are truly following their passion and their enthusiasm will always have the upper hand. They're always going to win in the long run. When you dedicate yourself to pursue the things that you're excited about and the things that you are naturally motivated to do, you don't have to continually muster up and waste your energy to even get yourself ready to begin, to get yourself ready to sit down at your computer or read the book or practice the thing. You don't have to waste all of that energy just to get yourself started. There is no gritting your teeth or counting down the minutes until you can stop and do something else that you would rather do. Being led by your enthusiasm means that you get more impressive results and you already have the satisfaction through the process. It is a double win kind of situation. Julia Cameron writes about creative U-turns. How when we're making progress on something and things are going well, we can become so terrified that we self-sabotage and we swing ourselves back from all of the progress that we've been making. We're more comfortable being a victim of artist block than risking having to consistently be productive and healthy. These fears come from outside of us. We can feel ourselves being pulled in all of these different directions, and it separates us from the ease that comes from following our enthusiasm and creating in the ways that we actually want to. When you're creating to satisfy yourself and figure out a solution to something that compels you, that you genuinely want to work out, no matter the failure, no matter how many attempts that you make that don't quite hit, it's not a step back, it's clarity. You've figured out an option that doesn't work and you can go on to try out the many different ideas, the many other options that you want to try and that you were committed to try because you so want to find that solution. You so want to figure this thing out. It is all play, it's all experimentation, and it's all a chance to experience and to evolve yourself. When there's satisfaction in the process, you don't have to perform. You're not trying to get it right for somebody else. You're not trying to get anybody else's approval. A successful creative career is always built on successful creative failures. You gotta keep moving forward, baby cakes. Keep playing with new ideas. Keep connected to your enthusiasm. Your efforts are no good to other people otherwise. So this week, I'm not gonna lie, I was very slack with my morning pages. I had my notebook on my coffee table as usual, ready for my 3 pages a day as usual. But life just kept getting in the way. Like, my routine was different. I was getting home late or I was too tired. After being really consistent with doing my morning pages for the past almost 3 months, I did my morning pages twice this week. There is an activity in this chapter that guides you through identifying and clearing your blocks. So I did that in my morning pages. And since then, it's been really easy for me to do my morning pages because it let me face up to my blocks that I didn't even realize had been building up. And it allowed me to get really clear on what I want to prioritize. It just was a way to remind myself like, oh, this is why I'm doing it. And that's really re-inspired my enthusiasm, not just for morning pages, but creativity across my life, across my work, across my projects. So here it is. I want to share this with you. If you've been feeling blocks, if you've been feeling stuck, try this out. A word of warning, this is a very powerful exercise. It can do fatal damage to a creative block. Julie's just cute sometimes, you know, she's just cute. The first little prompt for you to journal on is this. List any resentments you have in connection with this project. So whatever it is that you want to be working on, why are you resenting it? What resentments do you have in your life towards yourself? What things are holding you back? And I love that she's written here, it doesn't matter how petty, picky, or irrational these resentments may appear to your adult self, to your artist child, they are real big deals. These grudges, these things that we hold on to, getting them down on paper lets us see them for what they really are, lets us see how silly they are, how petty they might be. And it's from that understanding of what the thing is we're actually dealing with that we can formulate a strategy to overcome it, find a new route, an avenue towards where we want to be going. And then the next prompt is to ask your artist to list any and all fears about the projected piece of work and anyone connected to it. And again, these can be silly, these can be dumb things that you're like, that shouldn't matter. It doesn't matter if it should or it shouldn't matter. If it affects you, if it's impacting your process, then you deserve to give it some attention and decide how you can approach things a little bit differently. And again, like, it's usually when you write down these fears that we see how silly they are. We see how we don't want to let ourselves be held back by a silly fear, and that actually, you know, maybe you are brave enough to do it regardless of what this fear might be telling you. Then ask yourself if that is all. Get to the bottom of it, right? We want to get right down to the nitty-gritty here. So give yourself ample time, ample space to write extra little things that you might be like, maybe I was too embarrassed to write that thing. Write it down. Write it down. And then ask yourself what you stand to gain by not doing this piece of work. Listen, I'm going to read these examples because she's hitting the nail on the head. If I don't write the piece, no one can hate it. If I don't write the piece, my jerk editor will worry. If I don't paint, sculpt, act, sing, dance, I can criticize others, knowing I could do better. We think that we only have reasons to do something, but I promise you there are reasons that you think you hold for why you shouldn't do a thing, why it might be safer for you to stay in your comfort zone, why it might be safer for you not to be seen, telling people, showing people this is a way that you create and express yourself, why you might feel safer not being vulnerable. You got to put the flashlight on those little crevices of your mind, and then you'll realize that they're bullshit and you don't want those kind of thoughts to keep you small 1 second longer. And then finally, make your deal. The deal is, okay, creative force, you take care of the quality, I'll take care of the quantity. Sign your deal and post it. I don't know if she clearly didn't mean like post it to Instagram, but like that's what I'm reading it as. So I don't know, post it to Instagram if you want. So try it out. Try these prompts out. See what comes up for you. See how, like me, silly you feel when you're like, oh my God, that is the stuff that has been keeping me small. Hell no. We're doing things differently. So try it out. Comment below letting us know how it went for you, what came up for you. We can have a giggle at the silly things that our brain likes to come up with. Next week, we are diving into the dark side of creativity and how you can build resilience to avoid falling victim to some of the toxic elements that can arise for creatives. I'll see you there. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.